If you had 10,000 Bitcoin right now, would you still be playing basketball? You decided to start a Web3 NIL marketplace. Were you just hopping on the crypto bro wave?
After I had finished this season, it was like a couple weeks after that, I knew
Way
I was...
Way to clarify. This was like,
yeah,
I was after I was in college.
Not in school,
I was not in school. I didn't even think about it when I was in school.
I saw it as a digital trading card. This is the one of one. It's an NFT, non-fungible token. I think I actually was the first. Maybe Tom Brady or somebody had done something, but the one thing these fans want is they want that personal connection with the athlete, especially in college. You got to meet me in person. You got to experience that.
5 years from now, what is our relationship with crypto going to be? Let's go, baby. It's another episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack, and I bring on your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. Today, All-Star Weekend edition in Indianapolis. I got my guy, Luka Garza, former Iowa All-American, currently playing for the Minnesota Timberwolves. Luka, thank you for joining the podcast. But you know what we do here? We skip the small talk and go right into it.
Let's do it.
2010, someone bought 2 pizzas for 10,000 Bitcoins. Today, in 2021, that was worth $380 million. What are your reactions to this, being the Web3 guy?
That piece had to be pretty good.
It had to be, right?
It had to be pretty good. And that's crazy. It just kind of shows what people value things at a certain time based on what's around them, and 10 years later, you look at it and that guy's crazy. But at the moment, no one thought that was worth anything.
10,000 Bitcoin. And someone was saying the guy lost the Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I think the guy that sold the pizza doesn't even have the Bitcoin anymore.
I don't know if you can actually lose the Bitcoin because of blockchain, but it sounds like he was irresponsible with 10,000 Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's $500 million now.
If you had 10,000 Bitcoin right now, would you still be playing basketball?
Yes.
Because you love the game, obviously.
100%. But it wouldn't, I think it would take a lot of stress of basketball away. You wouldn't be worried about money. I'd be playing in...
Would you be playing the G League Showcase?
I would play anywhere. Puerto Rico, I'd play Afghanistan, I'd play wherever they want me to for as long as I could. It definitely, I feel like a lot of stress that comes with basketball, especially at this level, comes with money and stuff like that. So taking away that would just allow you to purely focus on the love for the games.
You'd play in Afghanistan with 10,000?
I would play anywhere, yes. I'd play it with LA Fitness.
Okay. LA Fitness is a lot safer. I play LA Fitness too, but that's a lot of Bitcoin.
Yeah. It is.
Well, I want to get back to that, but I think for Wolves fans or Iowa fans, just tapping in to see how you're doing. Right now it is February 2024. I'm not sure exactly when this will air, but you want to give a little update of what's going on, how's the season going for you, how you feeling? You're here right now for the G League All-Star game, and we grabbed you to chat Web3 out of all things we could possibly talk about.
Yeah.
But how are you doing?
No, I'm doing amazing. It's great to be here in Indy, just to be a part of All-Star Weekend. The G League All-Star game was really fun last year in Salt Lake. I did it last year. So to be able to come here with Carl and Ant, get to support them as they do their All-Star festivities as well, and get to, experience it and play in the game is a lot of fun. And this year's been, special for me. I think I've learned, it's been really valuable for me in my career going forward, just learning from the guys that are on this team in front of me. We're the number one team in the West. There's so many things you can learn on a day-to-day basis. And, I'm behind 3 of the best bigs in the league: Rudy Gobert, best defensive big in the league; Karl Anthony Towns, best shooting big in the league; and Nas Reed, who's
Jelly Fam Nas, dude. Big contract Jelly Fam Nas. There's too many nicknames.
100%. He might not be big enough with the way he's playing. He's probably the best big off the bench in the NBA right now. So to be behind those guys, it's awesome. You get to learn so much. But in general, I'm doing really well and blessed to be living my dream.
Those practices got to be crazy.
Yeah.
Between you, Nas, Rudy, and Kat.
What's even crazier is the post-practice ones, you line up at the elbow, especially with, everyone's so different. Everyone does different things. Nas will start handling like a guard, and then, Kat shooting the ball, and Rudy's just gigantic. So that's tough within itself to guard that.
It's pick what you want. It's a whole buffet of matchup problems. No.
So that helps, iron sharpens iron. So that helps me a lot every single day.
I think a misconception with this weekend is I think a lot of people who may not know how this works maybe think you're on vacation right now. You're chilling. You're vibing. You're with your girl. You guys are having a good time. But you probably all the guys I've talked to, their schedule is just a shit show. I mean, it's just like event, meeting, event after event. You know, what's it like sort of for you?
For sure, you know, it's definitely that, but also it's kind of an opportunity, like a networking opportunity. You think about how many important people are here right now in Indy for this, from so many different places that all come here for the NBA All-Star events. So I think I look at it as a unique opportunity to meet people, go do things, you know, try. That's why you're here, you know, to do those podcasts, to you know this kind of stuff, to meet different people at these events. Go to the different brands, parties, and stuff like that, and I think that is something that's valuable, you know. And I will be on vacation, but I have to wait a couple of days for that.
Where are you going?
Going to Cancun. Yeah.
Okay, Maddie's going to Cabo, so you guys will be on the other sides of Mexico.
Nice.
But A&A Cabo trick coming soon
yeah.
in the future.
Yeah, write it off.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll do a podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Right off the business expense. Like, we all go to Cabo. And,
exactly.
like, you know, all those Squid Row. Anyways, yeah, and you're a smart guy because you coming on the A&A podcast, right? So, like, and one thing that piqued my interest was, you know, a couple years ago, I mean, you were Iowa 2017 through 2021, so you like just missed that NIL wave. I would have been fascinated to see what you would have done in the NIL era and how maybe it would have changed your game or like your decisions or like how your college experience was. I'm sure that's like rent free in your head.
Yeah, you know, I think you think about it now. At that point, you know, if I had stayed my fifth year with the COVID year, it would have been the first year NIL. So I feel like NIL wasn't really prepared. You know, no one knew how much, you know, players were worth, how much they were going to give. So at that point, it was too much of a risk for me to try to stay in college to see how much I would have made. But if you fast forward that, you know, 4 years or 5 years or to now, you know, like Zach Edey going back to school last year after winning National Player of the Year, stuff like that. You know, those guys are making a lot of money. And so it would have been more of a debate, more of a conversation on if I would have stayed for a fifth year, it had NIL come along a little bit more. But, you know, at the time, I felt like it was a perfect transition, just doing 4 years, like, you know, the normal way and getting to, you know, it didn't end great. You know, we're in Indy where my career ended, you know, but, you know, I still loved every single second of my college experience. And, you know, it was worth it. And for me, it wasn't about the NIL, especially coming back to school when I turned down, you know, coming to the NBA and, you know, getting drafted or going overseas for a lot of money. I decided to come back for those memories. And, you know, that's the best decision I ever made because I know long after my career is done, I'm going to remember those memories with, you know, my teammates and the relationships I built, especially my senior year, you know, because there were no fans, you know, you weren't allowed to go outside. So you were around these guys 24/7, you know, and, you know, we're beating North Carolina at home and then celebrating in our house with like 10 guys and like, you know, it's completely different than, you know, when COVID wasn't happening, you go out or whatever. It was different, but it's something that is unique and, you know, hopefully nobody will have to experience again.
Well, I mean, look,
special.
You missed the NIL era so much, you decided to start a Web3 NIL marketplace. Tell me about that. Well, like, what was that about? You know, why did you want to start that?
Yeah, so when I was in school, especially my senior year, I was an economics major now, so I was looking into all this stuff, and that's kind of when, you know, NFTs, Web3 was starting to pop off. Was that, you know, my senior year, 2020, 2021, and
crazy times.
And I didn't think of it really for myself, but you know, my dad was really interested in it as well, and he pitched the idea to me about let's create you an NFT after the season's over. And you know, try to see what we can do with it.
So Pops was an NFT guy.
Pops was a huge NFT guy.
Big props to someone older. Yeah. You know, I don't know how old your dad is. Like, no shade. But I'm saying,
he's in his 60s. But he was really fascinated with the space, as was I. But I just didn't think of it for myself at that point. You know, you'd seen I hadn't seen any college athletes do it. I think I actually was the first. And I think maybe Tom Brady or somebody had done something, but nothing huge yet. And so we got the idea, we started it, and I wanted to, you know, educate people on what it was so they weren't just, you know, buying it because they were fans of me, but, you know, seeing that it was a digital asset, you know, and attaching it with real life applications like, I put, if you got the NFT, they got to meet me in person. I actually met the person who bought my NFT. We went to dinner. He got signed pair of my shoes for my last game. There was a bunch of stuff that came with it as well. Kind of when you look at like the V Friends and what Gary Vee's doing, like you get 3 years to go to his convention if you get his NFT. So that's kind of what made sense to me about it. I saw it as a kind of a digital trading card. Everyone's like looking through their Panini packs to try to get the one of one. This is the one of one. It's an NFT, non-fungible token. You're the only person that owns it. That's kind of was the point of it. So that's how it started. And we did that. It went really well. I gave a lot of money back to the University of Iowa's Children's Hospital. And then from there, started looking at it as an opportunity. I knew NIL was coming for the next wave of athletes. And I started talking to some people and thought, maybe it could be a good transition period where, athletes could monetize their NIL in that way with NFTs, doing it in different ways, and kind of allows them to explore different investments and stuff like that, and educates them at the same time. So I thought it was interesting, and I think it's still something that I'm looking about doing more in, and trying to find the right way to do it, because it's important for these guys to do the monetize in the right ways, especially when you're not at the big schools like Kentucky or wherever, where they're paying you basically payroll.
Yeah.
Where you kind of have to go get it yourself at these smaller schools.
So the NFT, was it on like Ethereum? Like what
Yeah,
was?
so
what
it
was
sold
the
in
layer one?
Ethereum. We put it on OpenSea. I actually did.
So you had the Luka Garza NFT.
I did
on
4
OpenSea.
of them. Yes. So I did the first one was the biggest one. And I think, at that time, the value in Ethereum was like about 42,000 USD, like American dollars. So it did really well. And, I did a couple after that.
So you were making money off your first NFT?
So that was after I had finished the season here in Indy. It was like a couple weeks after that. I knew I was...
Way to clarify. This was like,
this was
after I was in college.
I was not in school, I promise.
I didn't even think about it when I was in school. Yeah.
I was not in school, so
Sure.
I knew I was going pro, and I'd already announced I was going pro. And this was like the first thing I did after I announced I was going pro. It was just around the same time that I won the Wooden Award, and that was announced. And then I think actually a week after that, or something like that, is when I launched this to see how it would do. And so it was kind of like my first venture into doing anything like this. And
so can you talk so if someone bought the NFT, if I bought your NFT, like how was the process where you'd give me like a ticket or like a shirt? What was that like? How did you give people the package?
So just honestly, it was direct contact. I saw it also as a way in the beginning. I saw it as a digital trading card, but I saw it as unique to a physical trading card in that there would be a personal connection between me and the customer who bought it.
I like that.
And so that's why they were able to meet me. I brought them out actually to Iowa. I had the event for winning the Naismith Award at King Stadium, and that person was able to come along for that event, and he was able to watch and see all that and be a part of that day with me, which was special. But I thought that was the unique thing, was to kind of break it down. So it's like, not only did you get the NFT, you got to meet me in person, you got to experience that. So it offered something different than just finding a one-on-one trading card.
Right, and you wanted to build something where like all athletes had their.
Yes.
It was basically a platform where all athletes could have their NFT and do the same thing you're doing. Maybe not as on a bigger scale, but something to sort of get them fishing.
Exactly, because the one thing these fans want is they want that personal connection with the athletes, especially in college. They'll go buy your T-shirt, they'll go buy your sweatshirt because they just want to get closer to you and support you. So I thought of this way as breaking kind of down that barrier. So it was like, we're here. You bought my NFT. Here's some things that come with it, and also getting to meet you in person. And yeah.
Why? Curious. Like at that point in time, like why did you think to do the Web3 thing instead of doing it where you had like a private newsletter or something where you could see all your subscribers and just give them the same? Like why was it the Web3 thing for you versus like, because here's where I want to challenge you, like, and challenge me, like, I do think Web3 will have some widespread adoption, but like undercovering the chinks in the armor, like why did you, like, were you just hopping on the crypto bro wave, or like did you think there was something that anything else something else can offer?
Yeah, honestly, bottom line, even still to this day, I believe in the technology behind it, and I do believe in it as the future in terms of owning digital assets. That's what this is.
Yeah.
It's an asset. So, when you see in the future, 5-10 years from now, I think it's going to be a lot more widespread that people have physical assets as well as they have digital assets in their portfolio. And so I think that's what I kind of saw and believed in. And I think everyone's trying to find which way or which lane that NFTs make sense in. But I feel like a lot of people agree that the basic technology behind it is unique. It is something that is valuable. It's just kind of weeding through all the things that happen. Some of the tough stuff with the scamming and all of that stuff.
That's what I was saying, man.
That hurts. But I think also when you open up, going back to trading cards, when you open up a pack of Panini trading cards, you're looking for one. You're not looking for 25 good trading cards. No offense to myself, but when you open up my rookie year trading card, you're looking for Cade Cunningham, the number 1 pick. You're not looking for Luka Garza, the number 52 pick. And
I was like, damn, I'm like, where's Luka? Oh, Garza, not Doncic.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what I'm saying. So when and it's interesting, Gary Vee, who's been big in this space, was talking about it. At the height of it, he was making videos saying 97 to 99% of these NFTs are going to go to zero.
Yeah.
I promise you that. Because, not everyone's going to be a hit. And so it's kind of finding the ones that are unique, that have value behind it, that do things that are important and stuff like that is the way. But I think, there's so many different ways that this could go to. I mean, I could even see like you go into a sporting event and your ticket is an NFT. You own that asset. Because people, you go to the movie theater on your first date with a girlfriend, you keep that ticket for the rest of your life. So this is kind of the same thing as something small like that, where you kind of just have that as an asset of yours in a collection of, your blockchain.
Yeah. There was something there with your market, and I think there's still there is. Unfortunately, we're still in, it's like a still cycle phase where when Web3 is down, then people leave, and then when it's, up again, people come back. And I'm wondering, like, in your opinion, what do you think is something that keeps Web3 relevant in terms of like the use case for adoption, whether that's the international payments or ticketing for events or, like with what what do you think? What's in it? Like, I'll share, what I think, but curious to hear like your thoughts on like how we can make what makes this more accessible.
No, I think that, I think, again, it still is going to be about it being an asset and people seeing it that way.
Yeah.
Right now you see it, you have an NFT, it doesn't, really feel that valuable. I think that's where it kind of has to shift, where it's like, I think people, own digital real estate. They do different things like that, that's kind of a different ballgame, but still within the same thing where it's like people are going to start building up their digital portfolio as well as their physical portfolio, the things that they own. But I definitely could see it going into the ticketing and that kind of stuff for events and different things like that, because I think that's really a basic way that makes sense, that those are things that people will want to keep and have as an asset,
And I think the biggest thing we're missing here is just making it the ultimate user-friendly thing. Mm-hmm. Like, I should be able to access or purchase something without having to like onboard onto like knowing it's Web3. Meaning, if you ever go back to building that marketplace, someone should be able to purchase your NFT or something without having to create like an account or like do something like crazy that's like takes time.
For sure.
Because if it's like a consumer thing, which it is, any extra click results in like some crazy churn.
100%.
So if there's like 40 steps to like get Ethereum, like it's going to take like...
Yeah, that was a big roadblock, especially when I started selling the NFT. Was all these people that wanted to get on and try to bid, like they had to create these OpenSea accounts, they had to create a Coinbase wallet, and then they had to purchase...
People are lazy as shit. They're not going to like want to do that.
They had to purchase the Ethereum to then put it, so that was a big challenge, and I think that's also kind of what's held up a little bit of the process is that, and that like, it's a gap between wanting to buy it and getting to actually buy it, that is too long right now, for people. And that's something that has to be shortened and shortened and shortened. So it's, just as easy as I click my Apple Pay, and I buy it, and that's kind of where it has to get to, especially, when it's still a place that people are scared of in terms of crypto in general. And, that it has to be, people have to be more educated, but it also has to be a lot easier for people to use.
Do you have family in Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Yes, I do.
Did I say Herzegovina correctly?
Yeah. Herzegovina. Yeah, the same thing.
If you can tell me if I'm fucking it up.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
You're good.
Have you ever sent them like money, or like have you ever sent something to them? I feel like a big use case already is, if their currency is pegged differently, to be able to send Bitcoin or something instead of them like having to go through this exchange process. Have you ever done that before? Or no?
No, honestly, I haven't. But no, I do. Yeah, I think I get what you're saying. Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. No, it's definitely.
Because in Argentina especially, this is where some of the problems originated. Like the inflation rate is so high, and like your Argentinian currency is just not worth anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And be able to have Bitcoin and be able to purchase some of this, like hold more of your money and
for sure.
Own it and be able to move money across borders. I still I believe, and I'm not a crypto bro. I believe Web3 has like a real use case there.
Yeah, no, crypto is still something like I'm invested in because I do believe in it long term. It's not 100% of my portfolio, but it's a little part of it.
Yeah.
Because I do think in the future that's going to be how we use money. I think it's going to be a big part of what we do is using crypto in that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this is not financial advice, but look, I want to, ETH is coming back a little bit. Bitcoin's kind of bouncing back. Talk about your portfolio. What you got? What you looking at, man? What you got?
Yeah, no, I definitely, I have more ETH than I have Bitcoin.
Okay.
I just, I think that's also going to be something that
Why?
I think.
Just cause or?
Well, I mean, I see that as part of the riskier part of my portfolio right now with crypto, but I think, obviously just in terms of simple sense, Ethereum is at 2,800, Bitcoin's at 52,000 right now. So it's like, it's got a longer ways to go. So it's more upside to go with ETH for me, in my opinion. I still feel like Bitcoin's going to go high like it did. But it was the one that made already a huge jump. And it's still kind of, it's definitely coming back because it was down in the 30,000 area for a while. And now it's kind of climbing back up. But I definitely have a lot of Bitcoin as well, just because it's the most mainstream, most popular, and I think it's going to be the most successful in terms of the long term. But I do see ETH having a lot more upside. Yeah.
So in like I remember in like 2021, I was like going on TikTok seeing like what the next like penny crypto stock was to like buy in.
Yeah.
And for me, like I put a bunch of money in something called SafeMoon. I don't know if you remember SafeMoon, but there was this like really well-known like crypto TikTok guy in dreads is just like, bro, SafeMoon is like, if you buy in at $40 of SafeMoon now, when it gets to this point, it could be like worth 200 grand. I'm like, done. Bet. Yeah.
I remember like Dave Portnoy like tweeted like he got behind one of the little coins and tried to like, use his platform to kind of get it up as high as he could. Yeah. So it's interesting how many people kind of did that. There was a couple that went really like successful, and obviously a couple that weren't as successful, but
do you know if Mark Cuban still accepts Dogecoin? The Mavs still accept Dogecoin?
I don't know. That's an interesting question.
Were you aware of that?
Yeah.
Like,
that's crazy.
Dude,
yeah, that was one. That was the
paying for tickets for the shitcoin, bro. Like it's incredible.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I think obviously the ones that are sticking around and like kind of holding their value at a good level are ETH and Bitcoin primarily. So those are a little bit kind of separated from those other coins that are kind of the ones that people are afraid of, and those are the ones that I 100% stay away from. But those two are the ones I feel like within a risky market are the safest.
Yeah. I'm curious if you've seen, are there any like Web3 companies or startups that you like or have been keeping track of? I mean, like you may use Coinbase or something, but is there anything else that you like looked at that you thought was cool that was Web3 based?
Yeah, no, I mean, I use Coinbase. Obviously, I talked about being, doing a lot of stuff with OpenSea and how they did it. I think that's kind of what we talked about, of making it a little bit easier to use. OpenSea would be, really helpful because it is cool, just it being like that marketplace. Obviously, I talked about NFTs kind of in the sporting world, but obviously it was big in the art world, and with the apes and with CryptoPunks and like with all these different
Did you get a
things.
Bored Ape or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay,
I wish
cool.
I did. When I kind of was a little bit too late to those, where it got like a little bit
Like I said, higher above the.
I was still in college at that point, and I wasn't selling NFTs.
Let's be clear, you had no NFT. You didn't even know you were going to make NFT in college. You had no idea.
After my best game in college, my car got declined to Subway, so I was in no position to be buying apes. Yeah, that's my career high.
Okay. So you didn't have the NFT activation at Subway?
No, didn't have it. Yeah, didn't have the capital there.
Okay. Man, I that would have been cool to see you in the NAL era.
Yeah, for sure.
Would you have done, if you could go back in time, like, would you have stuck with the Web3 marketplace, or would you have done or would you have been like Coinbase, like sponsor me type of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would have done it to a point to see if I could get on with something like Coinbase and try to see if I could get in that area. And I think, before some of this stuff happened, my original plan was to get other athletes. And I had reached out to a lot of them, like talking them through it, educating them kind of what I had done and seeing if it was something they were interested in. A lot of people were, but then it just kind of, at that point, got so flooded, in terms of the market. So many people were selling NFTs, and some college athletes were too, but they were not in the right way. You know what I mean? Just kind of like, here's buy one of 150 that I'm selling on this website for $6.99. You know what I mean? Instead of like having the value of really putting work into the art of it. Which that was something that I didn't talk much about, but that was part of like what I was involved in was also kind of like deciding the car. What does it look like? What does it say? I want it to look like a trading card, but I want it to be unique enough in the art part of it to be pretty cool. And so there was different things like that I think I would have tried to stick with. And I just think it got so overcrowded and just a little bit. It's hard to kind of find the diamonds in the rough, and so that's kind of what contributed me not following through kind of in that area. But I still think in the future it'll make its comeback.
I need a crystal ball prediction right here. 5 years from now, what is our relationship with crypto going to be?
With crypto, I think it's going to be mainstream. I think it's just you talk about it. 10 years ago, someone sold 10,000 Bitcoin for 2 pizzas. That's $500 million right now. And, what it's going to be in 5 years from now as it continues to grow and continues to grow. It's clearly, kind of on its way back up. So it's showing that, people do believe in it. There's good and bads to every market. There's good characters, there's bad characters. There's a lot of trouble with it, but, that's kind of being shouted out. More so than the good people in it and the good, ideas within it. And I think that's like anything, when you look back at what people thought of the internet in the beginning, and what they thought of, and you can still look at that way in the internet. There's so many bad characters on the internet. There's so many bad things on the internet, but we talk about all the good things and all the upside, all the things you can do through the internet to connect people, to do different things. So that's kind of how I see crypto, as that way. It's going to be another thing that, years from now that people are going to look at in a different light than they do now, because now they're only, listening to kind of what they're being fed through whatever, and not doing their own research and kind of seeing what's behind it, which I feel like would make them believe in it a little bit more.
Yeah. Just your casual all-star chat about, crypto and Web3 with Luka. But this has been great, man. It's been another great episode of the Athletes and Assets podcast. I'm your host, Noah Lack. I bring on some of your favorite athletes to chat about a business topic. Today, a little Web3 crypto. Why not?
Yeah, why not? I like it.
Okay, why not, right?
Yeah.
Maybe this podcast will help the value of ETH go up.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be good for me.
We can revive the marketplace.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Let's try it.
My man, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate it.